Here. So in the last class we talked about wireframes, we talked about principles of designs, and we also talked about um, types of websites, right? So today we'll be talking about landing pages, right? So landing pages are, we also call them as websites, but the major landing page that when you go to a website, say www.kelvin.com, the first page you see is what we call the landing page, right? So landing page is very, very important. It's just like we say first impressions matters, right? So the first page that a person is going to visit matters a lot, right? So sorry let's say we open Netflix, right? Say we go to netflix.com. All right, just give a few seconds and load. Now when you go to this website, the first thing you notice that it tells you that this is a website for movies. You see the background, the way it looks like is basically for movies, right? So they use the background is basically movies that they've used over and over again, right? So that's what this is talking about. Okay, so then the next thing you notice that now you remember in the previous video I said that website has different things, right? So we have the header, okay, then we have the body, and if you go down you have the footer, right? So then we said this part that you usually see is called the hero section. All right, so now under this place now you notice they have other things. This is a very clean website that you notice the white, they made use of a lot of white space, right? You can see the white space all over. Okay, it's even looking as if the white space is too much, but it makes design that it directs. You notice those principles I was talking about in the past video. You notice the hierarchy. You know where to read and where not to read, right? Everything is well arranged. From this place the next thing you see text. It just makes sense to the eye that everything is well arranged, and all the principles I was talking about, they are working hand in hand together to make this website looks really, really nice. All right, so that's basically it. Okay, so now in terms of um in terms of designing a landing page, right, it is of utmost important that your landing page looks really, really nice, because that is the first website that people would um go to, or they will come in contact with. You notice get started is here because this Netflix landing page is all about making you to sign up, right? You just sit here, put your email and get started. That's all they require from you, right? The next thing you can either sign in and all of that, but they want you to get started. So hierarchy, the first thing they want you to know is you have unlimited movies, TV shows and more, right? Watch anywhere, cancel anytime. Then ready to watch, enter your mail. So now they've used these two things to convince you, and the next thing they tell you is, are you ready to watch? Enter your email, create or restart your membership, and you continue, right? Simple and short, clear cut and concise, right? So you don't need a lot of information here and there, left, right and center. Okay, it is not needed. Okay, so yeah, so then the next thing would be designing a fashion website, right? A fashion website. um so we're designing a fashion website, a very, very simple fashion website. Okay, so we have this here, right? I'll just copy, right click, I'll copy image. Okay, then I'll go to Figma. So I'll paste it. So I assume we already know how to create our Figma files, right? So you just basically go to figma.com, you create an account, and you see the part called, let me just go back to my files. You see the part called design file. You can create a design file from this place, and it takes you to, it creates a file for you. So but I'm using a file that I've created that we've been using to work over time, right? So let me just go to create a new page where we can design this. So I'll paste this, Control V. Okay, so we're going to design this website. Now mind you, this is just a website presentation, so this green part is not part of the website, right? The major website is this, right? This here, then this one at the back is supposed to come under. So now they cannot display, you don't, when you are presenting your website to the public, you don't not export everything long, just the entire long website. You tend to break it and make it look nice. That's why they did this, right? So you don't export your website just the long version like that. No, you have to cut it. When you export it, you crop it and make it in bits, right? So that's basically what they did here, right? So now to design this, all we need to do is go to our frame tool. Remember I told you that this is your tools bar, right? Go to your frame tool, right? Go to desktop. This is for designing websites and stuff. Go to desktop, choose desktop again. Okay, so reason why we always choose desktop is because the other sizes, they tend to misbehave sometimes, right? So this desktop is really really reliable when designing. Okay, so now first things first is when you want to replicate a website, always break down the looks, right? Everything you are seeing on the website, use your eyes to break it down. Don't look at it as if it's a very difficult thing to replicate. No website is difficult to replicate except is a website that has a lot of a lot of animations on it, right? Motion graphics on it. If it's just a static website that is just looking like this, you can always replicate it. It's just to understand what are the things here. So now let me just summarize what we can see here. So this is the frame, right? So they drew a rectangle here to have this background color. Then this is the navigation bar, the header. It has the logo, it has this and that, right? Then the next thing we have a text, and you notice this is hierarchy. See white space now. This is hierarchy. They want you to see this before you see this, right? Now they have this picture is also to complement this. So you have text here, you have image here, balance. This is what they are talking about. This is balance now, right? So that it doesn't look as if here it's just totally empty. Okay, now then the next thing, they did repetition and they make use of patterns, right? So this, you can see these dotted patterns, right? So sometimes we call it half tones, right? So we have this, right? Then we have this lady in that is wearing a dress, putting on a dress, right? Then has explore now button, and this. So I encourage you to go online, download this picture, and also design, right? So but I will just break down how it works, and I'll also try and replicate some parts. Then I'll show you how they were able to achieve most of these parts, and that will be it. Now the next thing we'll do is head over to this place. First things first, draw this light green background. Okay, so we draw a background, right? Draw it. We're using our rectangle tool to draw this background. Okay, so you do this. Now this is your properties panel. Now like I said in the previous in the two videos before, right, I said that everything you are clicking, let's say your rectangle, your circle, even the frame, it will always populate the properties here. Like it will always show the properties of what you've clicked per time. All right, if I go and click the desktop now, you notice the properties has changed, right? If I click the rectangle, you notice that the properties has changed, right? So it's very important. So before I draw the rectangle, first things first, I'm supposed to create my layout grid. Layout grid is basically used for getting your white space. Can you notice the white space here, the negative space here? Everything is in line, right? Everything here too is in line. So we want such want our website to be organized like that, right? So now you can easily say you just drag your ruler here and drag your ruler here, but because we are humans, the space in between this place here and the space in between this place might not be equal, so we don't want to make mistake. We want something very accurate. When you are designing, you design with precision, because these sites are going to be developed by developers, so they use measurements and they use figures, right? So you first of all make use of, and mind you, if your ruler is not showing in your system, press shift and R it would appear. Shift and R, right? Shift R, your ruler is going to appear. Okay, so the next thing you do, you click on this desktop frame, like the name here, desktop one. Click on it. When you click on it, you notice you have this layout grid, not auto layout grid. Click on layout grid. When you click, and when you click on it, you notice you have this like graph page, right? The next thing you do is click on this icon here. The icon, you can see layout grid settings. You click on it, you change it to columns, right? Change to columns. Okay, change to columns. When you change to columns, you have this, right? So now once the columns to start somewhere around here and end somewhere around here. All right, so the next thing we do is, because this is a desktop, we change the count. Now this count is basically 1 2 3 4 5. That's why you're seeing 5 here. All right, then this is the color, that is a light shade of red. The type is showing that it's stretched, right? So we change to center, right? To change to center, you have this. The next thing is this, you change the count to, let's say, 10. Okay, then the width of these columns, right? How wide are they? You change it. So now let's say we want it to be 100. Okay, now you can see is wide enough, and we have the exact size, right? This gutter is the space in between each of the column. That's what the gutter is used for. So now we close this, zoom in. Okay, zoom in, drag our ruler and align it properly. Same goes for this place. Zoom in, drag our ruler and align it properly. All right, so we have this here. Okay, now you can click on the frame and turn the, not the minus, the I, you turn it off, so that you basically can see what you are designing. Okay, so now you have your white space, the major white space, working for you, right? So the next thing you do is you create the rectangle. Okay, so you just make sure you adjust it properly, right? You have this. Now you click on the fill on the properties panel here, fill of, that is the color fill for this gray stuff. You click on it, you click on your eyedropper to want to pick exactly this color. So you use your eyedropper tool to pick exact colors. You click on this. Now we have this. Okay, then the next thing you do, we want to achieve this navigation bar here, right? So the next thing we do is we drag this down, right? Drag this down, and so this is going to be our boundary for the navigation bar. So I've now clicked on my text tool, right, and I want to type the logo Revo. All right, so this is the logo Revo. Now increase it to like 35, because it's the logo. The logo needs to be big. Zoom in. All right, you zoom in, you adjust and make sure your logo is well placed. Now the next thing you do is change the color. Let's zoom out, go and look for that Revo, pick the color, exact color of the Revo, right? You can see I'm just zooming in and zooming out. So you can press Ctrl and plus to zoom in, Ctrl and minus to zoom out. All right, so that's basically it. Now we want to change the font. Let's change the font. You come to your properties panel here as well. Let's change the fonts to, let's see any font that works, that is close to that Revo. So let's see this one. Let's see if we change it to bold or extra bold. Black. Okay, I think it works. All right, so we have this. Now if you notice, okay, you can leave it like this, right? So we have this, or let's make this text 40. Okay, so then we adjust this. Now we have this is perfect. All right, the next thing we do is want home shop features contact. All right, so go to your text tool, shortcut for it is T, right? Letter T. So we now say, what is it? Home shop features, right? Home, everything's in capital letter, home, right? So now let's reduce the size. we'll be making use of 17, right? So making use of 17 for the font size. Now this one is supposed to be a normal sans serif font, so let's use intertight, right? Then change it to medium. Okay, so then we'll align it with this ruler that we put here. So home, shop. Now please don't double click. That is, don't type and now start pressing space bar to give space in between. No, each text have to be on their own. So you duplicate by clicking your alt key, right, on your keyboard. Your alt key, if you are using a Mac, you hold your option key, right? Alt key, if you are using a Windows, you hold it, you click and you drag, right? You click it and you drag. All right, you hold your alt key, you click and you drag, right? So the next thing you do is shop, features, contact. Now you can decide to duplicate this one, right? So let me just say shop. So say shop, features, hold your alt key again, you drag to duplicate it. Shop, okay, features, right? Then hold your alt key again, you click and you drag. Features, contact. Nice, awesome. So we have this. Okay, so the next thing we do, we want to see if we can align this properly. So to be able to, let's say for instance, while duplicating, your work is a bit scattered like this, right? So if it's scattered like this, all you need to do is you highlight all of them. Now if you are trying to highlight, so you can highlight, you click and you drag, but you notice this background is moving along with it, right? So what you need to do is come to your layer panel here. This is where all your layers, everything you are creating on this frame, it will keep appearing on this layers panel here. So you come to your rectangle layer panel and you lock it. You see this padlock here, you click on the padlock and you lock it. All right, so now if you click to drag it, it cannot drag, right? So now we can highlight everything here. All right, highlight everything here, the home, shop, features, contact, right? So the next thing you do, you come to your, on this properties panel here, it's showing you the properties of everything, all these things you've highlighted. You see this part where the alignment tool, right? So I want to align vertical centers, right? Immediately I click it. So let me reverse, let me go back. So immediately watch closely to this place. Once I click here, right, this place here, you notice everything has is perfect, right? Vertically aligned, right? Then the next thing is, you notice here the spacing in between, they are not correct, right? You can click on this blue icon here, it would adjust everything and the space in between will be perfect. Or if you don't see this blue icon, you can come to this place here, right, where this next to this alignment tool, click on the drop down and you see tidy up. You click on tidy up and it tidies up everything that you need, right? So we have this. Now let's group this. So you highlight everything, right? You just click and you drag. Remember, we've locked down the background, right? So you can see it on the rectangle, we locked it down. Then the next thing, you highlight everything and you press Ctrl G. Ctrl G is to group things together. Ctrl G is to group things together. So now we've grouped all these options here and we have it in just one group. All right, the next thing we'll do is we want to get this this cart or this bag, right, and this login button. So let's just first of all draw this login button before we get the cart. All right, so now we draw a text, go to our text tool, right, shortcut is T, we type login, right? So we type login, okay, zoom in, draw a rectangle for the button. Remember, it has a button, it's inside the button, right? So we just draw a rectangle, we adjust it properly. Okay, so we have this here, All right, so we have this. Select both of them, right? Now you align it properly just to make sure they are properly aligned. Okay, so let's go back to this. I want to just want to observe and be sure. So now you can reduce the text so that it can be small inside. So we have like 15. Okay, so now you select both of them, you align, come to your alignment tool by this part here. You make sure you have selected both of them. To select both of them, either you click and drag, right, or you select one of them, then you hold your shift key to select the second one. That means you notice it has been selected on your layer panel here, right? So that's basically, so I said to select more than one element on Figma, you click on this, right? You click on the first one, then you hold your shift key to click on the second one. Then if there are more than two, you keep holding your shift to click on all of them, as many of them you want to select. Okay, so that's basically it. Now we have this, right? Now the next thing, you notice the button is transparent but it has a green outline. All right, so this one is gray by default, so we change it. Now we turn off the eye. Can you see this eye here? We turn it off for the fill. Want to be transparent. Now you see stroke under fill. This stroke, you click on this stroke, right? Then you see the color comes out. Okay, you change the color to a deep green. Now we'll click on our eyedropper tool. We'll go and pick the same color on this place. Remember when we talk about repeatance, like repetitive stuff, right? So you have to be consistent. Make sure you use the exact hex code of the color you are working on, right? Make sure you're always using the same green, the same type of green, exact type of green. So we'll click on this. All right, we click on this. Now this is, you can notice this is the hex code here. This is the hex code here, right? So can decide. Now we have the outline. So now we can also make the outline a bit thicker, right? So you notice on this place here, you see this place here, right? You see this place here. Come to this place here and make it 1.5. all right, 1.5. When you make it 1.5, it becomes thicker. If you change it to like increase up to like, let's say 7, can see how thick it is, right? So but we need it 1.5. all right, so we have this. Then the next thing is we make this also green. All this text, let's select all of them together. This text and this other one, remember this one is already a group, right? Change the fill to the dark green. So you come to your what is it called now, your eyedropper tool, right? And you select this color. Remember, we're still using the same exact color, right? So we have this. Now let's go over to go and get the the bag, right? The shopping cart bag. So we use a tool called Iconify. All right, so let me just go back real quick. You right click. When you right click, you see plugins. Okay, plugins in your system. In case you've not, maybe I just need to Figma, you've not installed your plugins, just search for Iconify. Now you can also, from this place here at the top here, look at my mouse at the top here, you see this, it's called the resources site, right? You click on it. When you click on it, it will show you this. Switch it to plugins. Can you see it? Plugins in the middle. Choose plugins in the middle. Then you come to your search and search for Iconify. Now I already have it. Can you see it as recent, right? So I already have it. But if you don't have it as a newbie, you can click on it and search for Iconify. Icon, then Ify. That is Iconify, right? So you click on it and it will open this panel. Make sure you have very good network so that you can see it properly. All right, so now you come to the search bar here, just search for bag. Let's type bag. So when we type bag, we should see something that looks like it. So you can just basically choose any bag. There's no preference. You can choose any bag. Let's pick any bag. So you can either click import icon, right? Or you can click from this place and you drag it into your Figma, right? So can you see I just dragged it in and we have that, right? Let me do it one more time. So you right click, come to plugins, Iconify, or you can also use this place and you still arrive at the same spot, right? Then you search for bags, look for the bag you like, you click on it, you drag it into your file, right? So then you close it. Okay, so we have this. Now you can increase the size. Let's increase the size, right? Yeah, so we have this. Then change the color, right? So you now, this is a container. Click on the vector itself on the layer. Click on, so if you click on this, right, the main container of this bag, and you change the color, it will give you issues, right? So you will now have to go and choose selection colors. Make sure you click, open the layer of that bag, click the vector, the direct icon itself, open it, and you change it to the green. So I already have the green after I've selected this multiple times, so I have a sample of it here, right? So close this. What's the next thing there? So we have a notification icon. So all we just need to do to have that, you come to your shape tool here, all right, and choose ellipse. Okay, so on this place here, let's close this. You just draw a very small circle, right? You draw a very small circle like this. Then let's go and pick the color. By clicking on eyedropper tool, we want to go and pick the color. So this is the exact color. Pick it, then we'll go back, right? So the next thing you can do is put it somewhere here. Now please drag it, make sure it stays properly. All right, now if you notice, there's an effect on it on their own, that if you zoom in, let's zoom in, you notice that there's a space around the circle, right? In order to achieve that, you can decide to, let's zoom in this, you decide to create a stroke. Now we create a stroke, it will create this line outside, right? Then we select the color and we pick this background color. When we pick this background color, you notice you now have this, right? So it's looking like this. So let me do it again. So this is the circle, all right? You create a you click on stroke, right? When you click on stroke, you have this normal default black, right? You click on the colors, right? Then you pick this background color. So it's creating this illusion that it is cut, as if they cut it, right? So they enclose it. So now we have this. Now select all of them, the bag and the circle, Ctrl G, right, to group it together. So we have this. Now what you need to do is, okay, we've not grouped this button. Make sure you group it. So you this login, the login and the rectangle, group them together. All right, so we have a third group here, right? So this is the third group. Okay, so now let's zoom out. So let's select everything that is at the top here. Excuse me, we select everything that's at the top here, right? Then let's come to our vertical alignment and click. So we want everything to be on the same line, like they should be properly aligned. Now don't do this, don't click on this blue one, it would make the spaces in between equal, and we don't want that. All right, so now we're good here. Okay, so the next thing we do is discover and find your own fashion, right? So we type this, discover and find your own fashion. Find your own fashion. Okay, so have an exclamation mark. Now make this like 70. All right, then change the color, so it's using this same green, right? Just change the color. So now it's not a must, the font must be exactly the same, but let's see if we have that type of font. So let's try, no, let's see if we have a font similar to it. No. Okay, let's try this font. Right, so we have this here. Let's make this bigger. Let's say 80. Okay, let's just search for Times New Roman. I think Times New Roman, we should have Times New Roman. So I have this now, right? Make it bold. Okay, no, shouldn't be bold. Okay, so we have this. Then we say explore our curated collection of style clothing. So I just want to type it here so that I can copy it, and instead of going back and forth. So say explore. Let me reduce the size and also change the color. Right, so let's change the color the same way I've explained to change colors. Right, then reduce the size. Let's type want it to be like 15. All right, so now this font also change it back to the normal font we'll be using already. Inter tight. All right, make it medium. Great. So we have this. We say explore our curated collection of stylish clothing and accessories. All right, tailored to your unique taste. Okay, full stop. Right, so we have this here. So I'll just drag it into the frame. Okay, so we can have it here. Now you can decide to make it, fill this other part, right? So I can just adjust this, also adjust this. Now you are trying to replicate this. Everything must not be exactly the way it is word for word, right? So you can also add your own creativity to it. So now let's quickly add the button, right? Explore now is what is written on the button. Okay, so we click on our rectangle R, that is the shortcut. Now we have a not too big button. Click on the color fill, change it, right? Then the next thing, you type explore now. Okay, it's all capital letter, explore now. So we have this, right? Let's see. Okay, so it's white. Now we select both of them, come to our alignment. We want to make it align perfectly well. All right, so we have this, right? So on our rectangle tool, we have this. Great. So the next thing we do is, if you notice, this button has a shadow under, right? It has a shadow under. So to do that, all we need to do is click on the rectangle itself, right? Come to your effects, or this panel where you see stroke, skip stroke, go to effects, right? Once you click on effects, notice there's a difference, right? There's a drop shadow that shows here. Now you come to the settings of this drop shadow. Let's zoom out a little bit. Come to the settings of this drop shadow. You see X and Y. So Y is the one under, X is the one by the side, right? So let's click on this Y, change it to, let's say, 15. All right, 15. Then we blur it, right? Come to blur. We blur it so that the line will not be so visible, right? But the drop shadow will be there. So change this to 20. So we have this, right? Then you can even change the spread. Let's say minus 7. Sorry, minus 8. Let's see. I think I don't like what it's giving me, so let's leave it back to 0. Okay, now let's increase this Y. to 20. So we have this. Now you can reduce the opacity, how bright you want it, like how bright, yeah, transparency level you want it to be. So let's reduce it to 20, right? Okay, so this works, right? It's closely, it looks close like how it is. So but that's how basically. Now they use a different technique for this drop shadow, which I don't want to teach currently now, right? We're just getting to start, right? So select both of them, group it. Okay, that is the text and the green background which we are using as button. So group it. Now we have this. Now the next thing is this other side, right? So on this other side we want to create a rectangle. Okay, please observe closely, this part can get a bit confusing. So we want to create this rectangle. All right, so come here, create a rectangle. All right, the rectangle is going to be here. Awesome. So now let's change the color of the rectangle first. So click on this, change the rectangle, pick this color with our color picker tool. Now if you notice, the edges are all rounded, but they are not rounded equally. Okay, so this one and this one, they are the same, but I think this one is a little bit different and this one is different as well, right? So now if you come to this your properties panel here, you notice that this is corner radius. You can make this corner radius controls all of them equally, but beside it, you come to this place here, you see independent corners, right? So these independent corners, we make each of them have independent corners, right? So all we need to do is come to this first one. When you click on it, it will open this panel here. You can choose how you want them. So let's choose 100 and let's see where it takes us to. So 100 is perfect. 100 now each corners, it also signifies each corners here. So we come to this one here, it means is this one want to change, right? So we come to this other place, the opposite side, and say 100. So we have this, right? Let me shift it. We have this. Then this one we say 70, right? So we have this. Then this one we say 30, or let's say 25, right? Perfect. So we have exactly the way it is here. We have it here, right? The next thing we do, I think I should just reduce this 70 to 60, or say 55. Okay, so we have this here. Awesome. This is going perfectly well. So the next thing we do is we need these dots, right? So let's create these dots first. Okay, so let's create these dots. We'll get the pictures later. So now all you need to do is click on your shape tool, select the circle. Short shortcut key for it is letter O. You click on it and you draw a perfect circle that is very small and tiny. Okay, small and tiny. Now it's the same deep green, right? So you change the color to the deep green. Okay, perfect. You change the color to the deep green, right? Now we have this one. You hold your Alt key or your Option key, Alt key if you are using Windows, Option if you are using Mac. You hold it. Notice when you hold it, your mouse, can you see the mouse? The cursor, it becomes 2 when you hold the Alt key, right? It means you want to duplicate. So you select and you drag. Hold your Shift so that the alignment will be perfect, right? You don't want it to go up and down, so you hold your Shift so it becomes perfect. Okay, so we have this. Now this is it, right? So now after we've duplicated it like this, don't click any other thing. Immediately click Ctrl D if you are using a Windows. If you are using a Mac, click Command D. Ctrl D. The reason is because if you touch any other thing, you scatter the accuracy of how we're going to duplicate. That is the space in between we're going to duplicate. Now we don't want to start imagining the space in between this place again, right? So what we want to do is once we press Ctrl D or Command D, can you notice it has picked the exact same space calculation, right? So you notice the space in between, they are uniform, right? So that's basically, so we have 4 circles there. We also have 4 circles here, right? So we have this now. Select all of them, select all the circles, right? Then you group them, Ctrl G to group again, right? Now we want to create the one down, right? So we had this, we drew a little circle, we duplicated it with Alt and drag. Now we want to duplicate it further to repeat the same space. Now you don't need to hold Alt and drag, we used Ctrl D, right, to duplicate it to have the same space at this at the same to have the same space that this is already having, right? So we use Alt to drag it out, that is duplicate and drag it. Then we now use Ctrl D to replicate it the same space, accordingly. So the same process we did for these 4 circles, what we use to do downwards, right? So first of all, to get the second one, we use our Alt and we drag it. Then to get the remaining two, we use Ctrl D to get it. So that's what we're going to do shortly. So now we've already grouped it. Why we're grouping them is because we want to make everything neat. When we start duplicating on this place, you have too many layers and it will give you issues, right? So we hold our Alt key. Make sure your mouse is on one of the circles, right? You hold our Alt key, you click, you select and you drag. Hold your Shift as well so that the alignment will be proper. Okay, we'll do this, right? Then we'll press Ctrl D or Command D if you're using a Mac, Command D if you're using a Windows, Ctrl D, and to duplicate exact same spacing. So you can see how perfect it is, right, in between. So select all of them and group it again, right, because we don't want multiple layers, so we just want to keep grouping them, right? So now we have the pattern. Okay, the next thing is we need it here also, so you don't need to draw it all over again, just duplicate it. Okay, so you come to this one, hold your Alt and you drag it down, right? Sorry, I went to select just one, that's why. So you have to group everything, right? You hold your Alt and you drag, right? So now we have the second set. Perfect. Okay, now we're coming to the part that's a bit technical. Okay, so now let me just extend this. Make it a little bit wider. Sorry. Right, so we have this. Perfect. So this is it. You just basically adjust. We're just trying to adjust properly. All right, now we have this. The next thing we do is to get the lady, right? So you can go online, search for, say, lady in a green dress. So I've searched for it before. I say lady wearing green dress. Okay, so you can decide to pick anyone of your choice. It's not a must that we must use the one that was there, right? So let's say we choose this one. So let's say we use this one. Right click, download it, right click, save image as, and wait for it to pop up. You want supposed to ask where you want to save it to, so I save it to my downloads. Okay, so it's saved to my downloads. Now the next thing we do is, now you notice in this design the picture is transparent, that it doesn't have any background. This background was created in Figma, like the picture came without a background, right? So that's what we need to do. And notice that our own image here, where's the one we downloaded? This one we downloaded has a background, right? So now to remove this background, all you need to do is go to remove.bg, right? So you can just search remove bg, search remove bg. You see the website so that you don't miss it. So right click on it, So you just click on it, right? It will open. Now you have this, you say remove BG. So you click on upload image. Then when you click on it, it will open this, right? So then you can double click. I want to open the image. So I have this image now. It will remove the background for me. Can you see it? Perfect. You see how just like magic it has removed it for us, right? So then we download the picture. So let's download the picture. Sorry, let me just click this download here. So we have the picture. Okay, so now I have the, let me go to my downloads. So I have the picture here. All I need to do is press Ctrl C, come to my panel here, click outside here, paste, Ctrl V. Now we have this. Can you see that now the picture is here, right? So now we have the picture here. See how it is. Now the thing is, when you notice this other picture, it is as if it's tucked in to this container, right? As if it is tucked into this container. So what you need to do is mask the image. All right, so we mask the image. Now you can decide to use your crop tool to just crop it like this, and you close, right? Then you just, align it like this, right? This will work, but I want to also use this opportunity to teach you guys masking, right? So we will not go through this route, all right? Because masking would work for a lot of, there are a lot of things we will do. Those other pictures at the bottom here, you need to use masking to do them, to work with them, right? So now we have this image. Let's put this image by the side. Now remember this rectangle we created, right? It is 1. If we decide to mask this image inside this rectangle, the background, this background would disappear. Let's try it out. So to mask an image, right, like to tuck in all these parts, so you click on this, on the image, you click on the rectangle, hold your shift, you click the image, hold your shift and click the rectangle. Now you notice both layers are selected, right? Then you come to this your moon shape icon here. It says use as mask, right? Can you see it here? It's saying use as mask. So you click on it. Can you see it as mask the shape, the image rather, right? But the thing now is it has replaced the background color that we are seeing here, right? Now we don't want that. What we want is that it would have a background and it will still mask the image. So now one thing with Figma does not have the capacity currently to hold an image and also hold a shape. All right, so what you need to do is you have to duplicate this shape to be 2, right? This rectangle here, it becomes 2. So you duplicate it. So 1 is going to be the background and 1 is going to be the container housing this image, that is masking this image, right? So you come to this one, press this rectangle. Now you click on the rectangle. Let's put the image aside first. Sorry, let's click on the image, put it aside. Now you come to this rectangle, notice your layer. Please always pay attention to your layers when you are designing, right? So we have it, we selected it, we press Ctrl D, it will duplicate it on the same spot, right? This same rectangle, now press Ctrl D, it will duplicate it on the same spot. Now we have 2 rectangles. Can you see it? We have 2 rectangles, right? I just press Ctrl D to duplicate it on the same spot. Can you see it now? Have rectangle 4, rectangle 5, right? So we have 2 exact rectangles. So now this rectangle 4 that is under, turn it off, right? Can you see this eye here? Turn it off. You turn it off. Once you turn it off, you see that it's looking dull, right? So this one now is still here. Don't get confused. This is the second one, the rectangle 5. This one now is the one we're going to use to mask this picture, right? So now you come here, you drag the image, right? You drag the image and adjust it the way you want. Okay, then you select the rectangle 5 as well. Select the rectangle 5. Okay, then you mask it, right? You click on use mask. Now both of them are selected, the rectangle 5 and this image is selected. The second rectangle, that one is going to be the background. We will not use that one for now. Let us deal with this main rectangle, right? Excuse me. So you click on it, then we have this. Can you see it now? Now you notice now you've masked it. It is now one, the rectangle is now hiding other parts of the image, right? Now we need the rectangle to be at the back as the background, the way it is on this image. So this is where that rectangle 4 comes in. So that rectangle 4 is going to be the backup, like a background color for it. All right, so all we need to do is come to this rectangle 4, right, and you turn it on. When you turn it on, can you see it is now the image? It's now the background color. Perfect, right? This is perfect. So this is how you achieve this, right? Then the next thing, you come to the bottom and say best selling. You just keep typing. So now you need to increase your art, your frame, right? You need to increase your frame. So to increase your frame, you click on desktop 1, the label here. You come to this place and you drag. All right, you drag it down. You drag it down. In case peradventure you are having issues that while you are dragging, some of the elements in it, some of the elements in the artboard, in the frame is dragging along, all you need to do is select all of them from the beginning to the end, cut it out, right? Ctrl X, cut it out. Then you click on the desktop, then you expand it the way you want, then you paste it back, Ctrl V. So everything will still be the same way they are, right? So let me lock this, right? So now let's type best selling. Okay, use your text to say best selling. Okay, so now increase this font, let's say 35. Let's make it 50. Okay, so now let's align it to the middle. Okay, and let's make it that deep green. Okay, the deep green, let's change from medium to semi bold. Let's try bold. I think bold works, right? So we have this. Now the next thing we do is, what is this other one? Get in on the trend with our curated. So let's just copy it and let's type it here. Get. So let me change the font size to 20 and the color to be deep green so that we can see it, right? So we say get in on the trend with our curated selection of best. So I think we need to reduce the size, take it down to 15. So best selling styles, right? Full stop. So we have this. So you just adjust it, you just move it and come and place it here. So now we already have this, right? So now these are the images. Notice these are the pictures. So you can just imaginary, like, you know that the pictures, they also look like this, right? So we'll just basically create this part and we'll call it a day, right? The remaining parts, please try and replicate this website. I think I've dropped it in the group. Replicate it to the footer, right? So the next thing we do is now start cropping these images. So let's say women fashion. Let's type women fashion. So let's say Asian women. I think it's Asian what we're designing currently. So you can decide to remove the backgrounds of all these pictures, all right, just the way it was removed. So let's say we save this image, save image as, you click save. Let's save some more. Right click, save image as, you click save. Let's save some more. Click this one to save image as, save. Let's look for more images to save. Right click, save image as, save. Right click, save image as. So let's save as many as we can save. Okay, so this is enough. Save. Now let's go to remove bg and start removing them. So we already have this one we're doing before. So now let's click on delete. Can you see the delete icon here? You click on it, so now it comes back to this. Now let's select these pictures we want to use. So select the first one, remove the background, you download it. So we've removed the background, click download. Right click on the delete icon again, upload image. The second one, upload it, remove the background. Right, then you download. Right, so you delete, upload image again. The third one, upload the image, delete the background, the image for us. Right, and we download it. So we have this, click delete. I think one more picture is there, so this one, last picture, remove the background to download. Awesome. So we have this now, right? So then we'll come to this place here, and now we start setting up the boxes like this. Okay, so let's draw on our rectangle, draw this. Okay, so let's see. Right, so let me adjust the size a little bit. Okay, before now, let's just type any random text. So say spread color shirt. Okay, spread color shirt. Drag this under. This one is going to be the dollar, right? So say $48 point. The dollar sign is on your keyboard. Just hold your shift on the figures part, you can change it. So 48.99. Then let's type another text, change this to green as well. Okay, another text, let's make this green. Another text, make it 5.0. right? So let's adjust all of this. Select all of them and go to your vertical alignment tool to align them. Then we have to reduce their sizes. First of all, then also make the spaces in between equal. Then we'll reduce the sizes to, let's try 12. Okay, I think 12 works. Right, the next thing we do is right click, go to plugin, want to get that star shape. So click on type star, right? Choose any star of your choice, drag it to this place here, then you close. So then let's change it. Now this star is going to be yellow, so choose this. So now let's reduce the size of this star. Okay, reduce the size of the star, right? So we have this. So we have all of this. We're just trying to copy what they placed here. Then I'll group it so we can drag everything back to the frame. All right, drag it back to the frame. Okay, so then the next thing we'll do, just place it under. Let's see how it was being placed. Okay, so I think it's somewhere at the middle. So it's somewhere at the middle, right? Select all of them. You select it, make sure it's at the middle. This one too has to be at the middle. So we have to group this goes together, then this one and this one, make sure it's properly aligned, right? Then we'll group this one also together, this one and this one. Now if you notice, this thing is aligned to the left, right? And there's this space here, so we want it to be aligned to the middle because we're putting it at the middle here. So if we're putting it towards here, it can be aligned to the left. So if we're putting it here, you can leave it like this. All right, but now we're putting it at the middle. Since we're putting it at the middle, right, it has to be aligned at the middle. All right, so you click on this, now it's at the middle, then we select this, so we have this now, it's at the middle. Okay, so we have this image now. We'll come back to where we have these pictures. Select any one of them, and so let's Ctrl C, come to this place and paste. So this image comes in. Now the image is quite big. I think it's okay like this, so it will be like this. Now what we need to do is, you can either decide to, like I said, you can decide to crop it. Okay, crop it with the shape, and you have something like this, right? Do it neatly so that this one will also be the background, the rectangle will also be the background. So let me crop it properly. Okay, so now this is the background, or you can decide to do what I did here. So you create two rectangles, one will mask the image and one will act as the background. You can decide to do those. So right, so then you have this, select everything here, you group it, right? So this will now become one set, right? You can decide to duplicate it, hold your alt and drag, right? So you do that. Same goes for all of this, right? So now all we need to do is just press Ctrl D to duplicate it in the same spaces, right? So now if you notice, when I duplicated it, it is going out of the line, right? So you select all of them, can you see this line in between, can you see it in between, and that one in between? You can use to drag the space in between so that this would fall in line to align with this line we created, right? So you drag it, click and you drag it. Can you see now it is aligned with what we have been doing, and you still have space, right? So but to be able to do that, you have to select everything here as grouped element. you have to group select them as groups. Then you notice this thing will come, so you can decide to adjust it the way you want, right? So they have to be selected first before that thing can appear. If you don't select all of them, they will not appear. So great, we've gotten to the end of this website. So you please replicate so that I can see your work. If you have any issues, message me on the group, on the WhatsApp chat. I would reply, right? So this is it. Okay, so one more thing I want to show you, okay, I think I'll show in the next class, is how to put your designs in mockups, right? You don't want to just export this entire long screen like this. Okay, let me just quickly show. So now we want to replace these images, right? All you need to do is double click, open the layer, right? You come to the other ones that you have here, you control C and you paste. Okay, you paste. Now this image is looking cut, so you can come to your crop and you remove it, so then you have this, right? Same goes for this one. You can just decide to just paste as well. You have this, right? You can keep doing it over and over again. So we have for this one too, Ctrl C and you paste, right? So if you notice that this is the bad side about cropping, it would crop out some of the image that you don't want to crop out, right? So just remove it. Okay, right, so we adjust it so that it stays well. Perfect. Okay, so now we have this, right? So you can decide to explore, so you notice that this website, it was really relatively easy. We didn't have to do a lot of twists and turns. It was very simple websites, no too much drama, right? So just kindly replicate and I would love to see your work. All right, thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.